Sunday, 15:56, 17 seconds. Year 2020. The year 2023, or 15, Sunday, 15:56, 27 seconds. Year 2025, 6th month, June, 8th day. Now, brothers seems to figuring. Go to the screens here. All right, now here's a 75 unit long trade that was left on over the weekend, and it's pretty much going 1 cent per pip, just a bit shy. It's probably 90 cents or 0.9 cents per pip, because it's moved 6 pips, which is pretty much 5 pips. So that's 5 cents per pip, which is 1/10 cent per tick, pretty much. Just imagine, instead of 75 units, this is 100 units. 100 units. That's 1/10 1,000 units, which is 1 micro lot or 1 cent per tick. That would be 10 cents per pip. See how this one's 100th. There's a 10th. It's a 10th. Around a 10th. Then it's 1/10 per tick instead of 1 micro lot or 1 cent per tick. Now it's 1/10 cent or 1/10 micro lot. 1/10 for 1 micro lot with 1 micro lot with, instead of all this fuck language, slave language, hero, savior, God story languages. Not to put it down, but getting all this stuff, just getting all the evidential angle details, retails down and all that. So this relates to the fucked up, the missing trade that the brother had with the Oanda investigation, the missing 75 unit trade. Now, as the brothers been going through, as the brothers been going through the records, because of the email from Jose Carlos, which is another subject. The name Jose Carlos is another subject, because inside the phone recording, at the beginning of the phone call, he calls himself Carlos, which is the last name that he uses. And in the military, everyone is known through their last name. Everyone is referred to their last name in the military. Petty Officer Eskew. Russell Eskew in the public military was the rank was a E4 before he was publicly honorably discharged after 4 years, and then 4 years active service after that. Inactive service after that. Reserves, inactive reserves, ready to be called up, but was never called back up. So he was E4, known as Petty Officer Eskew, Petty Officer 3rd Class Eskew. And then the rate is the profession, which was Aviation Boatsman's Mate, H for handling, handler. Aviation's Boatsman's Mate, handler, H for handler. And they wore the yellow shirts on the deck as plane directors. They directed all the planes on the flight deck and ran the flight deck fire department. In the fire department, they wore red shirts, and the tractor drivers and the chalk and chain low totem pole slave, regular old airmen, wore blue shirts. There's one stripe for airmen, two stripes for airmen, there's three stripes for an airman. So, or it might have been just two stripes and three stripes. I got a Discord notification. Anyway, so dealing with Carlos's name, he referred to himself as Carlos at the beginning to the phone call, which is military language. It's military language. And Russell told him to state his name for the record, to give his name for the record and his employee ID for the record. He didn't have no employee ID, but he had a first name, and he called himself Joseph, which more than likely is a distraction and a diversion to hide the real name, which is Jose. But you never know. He could have been using a nickname that he's familiar with. Called himself Joseph. So, or he might have been Joseph in the Bible. This might have been all remote control, radio, MK Ultra, mind control, Monarch Butterfly mind control, and all that. Audio, voice mind control, the whole 9 yards. And someone else was electronically demon possessing him and speaking through him, which happens all the time, especially for lower totem pole slaves, even though they are in the high ranks called banking, military banking. So, the email that Jose sent, and the reason and the evidence that there is that his name is not Joseph, although it could be a nickname, the evidence is here in the email from the front desk here. It says, Dear Russell Eskew, the trades, and then he explained how the trades, and there's his name. It is my pleasure to assist you. Jose Carlos, client experience team. Now, of course, here's the email that he sent. Thank you for contacting Oanda. Actually, Oanda is a fiction, so there is no contact with a fiction here. Fictions can't be contact. Only the real living men or women or boy or girl has a contact point. Everything else is just something that a boy or a girl has written on a piece of paper, which Oanda and all corporate names are called entities or fictions. They're just stories that a living boy or girl can make up out of thin air. And then they can use those stories to force upon other living organisms and turn them into slaves. Nevertheless, anyway, so thank you for contacting Jose Carlos. It should be a more appropriate way to say this would be, thank you for contacting Jose Carlos, an employee working at the Oanda corporation, which is just a idea written on a piece of paper, a rule book. That's all it is. It's a story, fiction. That's why there is no jurisdiction from any corporation over any boy or girl. It's only over the all capital name. See Oanda here and on all uppercase letters? That's military protocol. Everything's all uppercase. But keep in mind, although everything's military protocol, out here in the cities, they like to hide the individuals or the real boy and girl running the corporation like to hide behind things. So they'll use upper lowercase to throw people off the trail who don't know any better, or for those that are studying, still haven't quite yet got clear all the different ins and outs with the maritime system. So anyway, so thank you for contacting Oanda, says Carlos here. You open a ticket number 11463 for 1,000 units, make order, Later, you closed 5 units per ticket number 11491. Then you closed another 920 units with ticket 11552. And then, now let's look at the language here. These are pronouns, and these are assumptions that Russell closed these out. A more general way, which leads to less offense and less battles and less wars, a more cautious and general way to speak is that a ticket number 116463 was opened for 1,000 units. Later, that ticket was closed with 5 units, and then later that ticket was closed another 920 units under ticket 11552, and then the ticket 11555 sealed. Now there, and then the ticket. Now the reason why Carlos is saying you here, referring to Russell, is because Russell said in the communications on the phone that yes, Russell remembers, and Russell did place these trades. So really, it's not supposed to be the word you here. See, this is the danger with all these pronouns. You got to get more accurate. In military language, everything has to be very, very accurate. And to say Russell open, according to the confession in the phone call, according to the confession in the phone call. Russell, but remember, even at that, Russell could be mind controlled too. It could be someone else speaking through Russell. Just keep that in mind for any evidence, any situation. Just keep that in mind. Anyone can be electronically demon possessed and be spoken through, and though they think that they are the ones actually speaking and or committed an incident, which includes either crimes or, services, all the other different equations that there are within the scope society that there are to accomplish, bad, good, and ugly. So anyway, moving on. So, and then ticket, he doesn't say Russell here because Russell said on the phone call that Russell doesn't remember putting this one in. So he said, but 11555 sealed the deal, closing out the remaining 75 units. And then he says you, as in Russell. And when you, now he's making an assumption or an accusation. It can be looked at this way. It's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, just looking at it all the ways it could be looked at. So he's assuming that Russell closed it out. So when you submitted the new market order to go short, it closed the open position. The account is not eligible for hedging. So what it says, it closed the open position, which was a buy order, and a new position for minus 925 units was created, which was the order you closed that morning. We recommend that you check your activity tab when placing a new orders to check how many units you have opened. All right, now, when the brother was going through these tickets here in the Oanda activity here, he went and he scoped out his ticket because see, shall have a video with Russell. We'll go to the regular iPhone video that gets all the shit off the screen because the military credentials were already placed at the beginning video. Okay, Russell wrote down the trades here. And he wrote the date. Then he put down here the dates and the times. So as Russell was writing all this down, there it can be, it's there to look at for a record. Looks like these 000s are going to be at the top of the screen. That'll be something to keep in mind when watching the video, inspecting the video, especially for sound. Because Russell always inspects the video for sound after it's been uploaded and finished. He goes to the actual YouTube channel, the original YouTube channel, to the YouTube channel, plays the video, runs it through quickly at the bottom with the pointer. See, it goes all the way through. And then after that, then he erases, deletes the video, and looks for sound and all that stuff. So that's the main reason, is to see for sound, and then the video complete and go all the way to the end. So now, getting back, going to look at these trades here in the activity tab to the Oanda thing here now. Here's the current trade that's on. Here's the activity. And the first one is 114.63 on June 3rd. So you're going to have to go all the way down to 114. See at the top, it's at 116.30. Ticket. It says order 11625 canceled. Oh, look. Every single one has the number in big white numbers, except for that one. Pretty much, so it's going down. We're in the 15s. We got to go down to the 14s. There's 55. And the white numbers, the big white numbers. So that's an easy way. Just go to the 14.6. Here's 15.07. 14.9, 14.87, 14.82, 14. There it is. There's the original ticket. Now that's the stop loss that was put on that ticket. It's ticket 6.3. There it is. Here's the original ticket. It doesn't have it in big white letters. It just has it in. There is medium white letters. 1.13673. Brother has no way to have a Scott Schubert draw on the screen app right now, so, and ain't on the chart, so can't use no arrow. So, use this right here. There it is. And use the remote control mouse. There it is in medium white numbers. And then down here is the smaller, says ticket, 114.63. That's the original trade. Went in 1,000 units. And then the next reduction, the first reduction is 5 units the next day in the morning. And this original trade here, it says June 3rd, right here at the bottom, June 3rd, 2025 at 23:15:10 military time. That's 11:15 p.m. and 10 seconds. 11:15 and 11th hour, 15th minute, 10 seconds. p.m. Brother just got a hankering to figure out p.m. stands for. What was that? Post modem, and then a.m. at modem. Brother's all over it now. Might as well get it. Might as well look it up. Get a new Google search here. Look it up real quick. Get it. The best thing is to get these things when they're here. For some reason it's on Pro Valley Mental Ward. This thing needs to go to Google, so it's not going to Google yet. Here it is. Google. Google. There. Now, PM and AM interpretation. Brother didn't ask any questions on these Googles. AM stands for ante-meridian, which is Latin for before midday. It represents the time. There's a screenshot here. Represents the time from midnight till noon. PM stands for post-meridian. Oh, look at that. Ante-meridian and post-meridian. Now, there's meridians across the earth. The equator line is a meridian. It's the fattest line across going south or east to west. And then north to south is the north-south pole meridian. The fattest line is a straight line from the two poles, north and south poles. So, meridium. So anyway, so that's neat to know. Now get back to the Oanda. All right, so 114.63, 1,000 units goes in, and then it's reduced at ticket 114.92. So go to ticket 114.92. Here it is right there at the top. Right there at the top. Reduce 5 units. And that brings the price to 13,977. So the brother's going to write it in here. 1.13977. The other one was 1.13463. 13,463. All right, now the next one, the reduction is 920 units on ticket 115.52. So 115.30, 40. There it is. So there it is. 920 units at price 1.14197. 1.14197, and that was at 08:45 and 49 seconds. Ticket, and there it is. June 4th, 2025, in the morning, 08 military time. Whenever there's a 0 before the first hour, the hour number, that's AM. So 00 is 12 a.m., 01 is 1 a.m., 02 and 08 is 8 a.m., 45 minutes, 49 seconds, ticket 115.52. At price 1.14197. That's $1 14.197 cents. That's how that's read. How many euros to a dollar? Well, to get $1 in euros, it's going to need $1.14.197. So that's just a little bit over 14 cents. Otherwise, if it was close to 1.14997, that would be close to 15 cents, but it's 1.14 and 1/97%. So that's probably how it goes. $1.14 and 1.97. $1.14 and 1/97 cents. That's probably how it goes. There's another little arrow thing that shares the information on here. Fees, financing, trading, profit. It was closed out for a profit, $4.82. All right. So keep that in mind. We're going to press that button when it gets to the to the sell unit here, because there should be a profit for that buy trade at 75 units. So next ticket is the next ticket's going to be the sell. So just go up here to 155, and that's this one right here. So here it is. To sell 1,000 units at $1.14 and 0.43%. June 4th, 2025 at 22:55, 39 seconds. Ticket 115.55. And it says plus 28 cents. So that right there, remember the trade was at 42 cents. See, according to the pictures. According to the pictures, go back to the email. And go to the email that was sent. Come on. Come on, lagging lacquer. And here's the email that Russell sent. Wonderful, Jose. Shall examine the presentation and trust and da 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 da. Okay, that was the second email sent there. Here's the first one with all the activities. So there's that one. Here's this one. Here's the letter, 0.0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's a 9. Here's the one that closed out for a loss or a drawdown. Brother likes to say drawdown. Nothing's a loss. Anything can be gotten back. So it's just a drawdown. If people want to call it a loss, then they'll probably be losing all kinds of stuff. So here it is. Last night at 10:26 p.m. That's 10:26 p.m. The brother was 42 cents in profit at 56.2. We're just going to write this one down. At 10:26 p.m. Brother was 0.42042 cents profit at 56.2 pips. And that was from 1.13673 to 1.14235 is the closeout. And so it actually lost some pips. But it looks like it had 28 cents. So it probably went down to around 25 pips instead of 56 pips here. That's a pretty good guess, since how it showed 28 pips profit on that last thing. And then here's some other ones. Pretty much the same trade. Here's one showing the trade, I guess, being reduced or something like that. And then here's another one. This is the post on Telegram. This is when it was at 56 pips instead of, and the time is just a few minutes difference, 10:23, which is earlier. So I'll just write that one down. 10:23, and it was still 0.42 cents, but only 56 pips, which isn't going to be a change at all. So that would be from 1.13673 to with a little arrow there, 1.114233, which is different than the other one, which is 1.114235 at 56.2 pips. I mean, we're talking minuscule microscope looking at the cells and the atoms inside the blood here, or any biological organism, geography, geology. So anyway, so that's that. So now I'll go back to the original, the trade thing. I want a trade activity log, trade platform, and activity log. Go ahead and rotate, put it on portrait to go sideways. Price is heading up. It's now 11 pips in profit. Brother's having a profit. The brother went long on this trade. And here's the let's see. Yeah. Now this one here, for some reason, all of a sudden, this chart is the MT5 platform is having big problems all of a sudden. And Russell thinks it's because someone's watching Russell and sees how he uses the MT5 platform charts more. He uses them for charting, and he uses MT4 for buying and selling, for placing trades. The reason he uses MT5 is because it has more accurate and more functions to be able to care for the charts. But all of a sudden, since Russell's been on a winning streak here, because he's only trading pennies now. So there, it popped back on. See that? So if the brother wants to, he can just go ahead and close this trade out. See if it'll close. See here. He's thinking on it. but not now. Give it a little bit more time. See, the charts might want to come back. They might want to come back and stop these guys out. But it would not let Russell close any trades out because it kept shutting off on Friday. All morning Friday. All morning. So here's the trade right down here. Brother can use the arrow now. So here's the trade. 0-1 lot. Here's the red line the brother got in. And the trade's moving up, moving against the sell. Now the reason why the brother wanted to close it out Friday is because he figured it's going to start going back up now. So look at this. It broke the high. See that? Here's the low. Broke the high, came back down, engulfed. Boom. Get in the trade right here. This thing's ready to go back up. Supposedly. It'd have to be a setup, though, on the bigger time frame. So that's the main thing. So look at it. It's hit the trend line. More than likely, this is going to probably be going up. But brother has a trade on. It might want to come down and stop everyone out. It might want to go up like this. Go up to a high up here. Or go up to this monthly line. This is last month's line. This is a heavy line right here. Resistance. It'll come up and then come back, probably come back down, stop everybody out, and then head back up. So brother will close the trade when it comes back down here. Unless it just wants to keep going. Then, besides, it's just a demo count. It's just a demo count. As long as there's money in that demo account, then, that's all that matters. It can go down to fucking $2. It doesn't matter. Brother just uses it to place trades so that he can monitor the trades that he put on the MT4 platform. But anyway, so going back to the Oanda. So go to the activity. And the next ticket to look at is 155, 115.55. Here it is. Yep. Here. $115.48.50. Here it is. 115.55. So here it is. Now, the whole enchilada for this video is that brother finally recalls now. He finally recalls. It finally recalled. See, this is the buy-sell platform. And on this side it's sell, on this side it's buy. And the brother was just experimenting with it. And he put some units on. I think he put 1,000 on, or he was mind controlled or something. Put a bring profit. Replace the word take with bring. Take is theft. It's centered around thievery. So brother likes to say bring profit, and then of course the stop loss. That's wonderful for now. So when the brother put it on, he thought he was placing a buy order. Brother thought he was placing a buy order. But he didn't know that he had to either press between these two. See that? It lights up for buy, it lights up for sell. And for some odd reason, something didn't take, or something was odd and the brother discarded it or something like that. So it's possible that Russell is, because that was the first time brother used this platform right here on Oanda. He's never used it to buy or sell, to enter a trade. Never used it. And for some reason he had located and touched this new order button either June 4th or June 5th, the morning of June 5th. for some reason he had touched it and he realized, oh, all right. And it caught his attention. So I think the brother was just experimenting, just to see the least amount that he could put in there. But even at that, the brother just put a 1 because it was the first time. Pretty sure the brother just put a 1, which is a 1/10 cent, which is 1 international unit, which is fucking shit. 1/10 cent. So something still seems to be not adding up. And it's real easy for someone that's surveilling all this and has access, overriding access at high military, banking, governmental levels. It's real easy for someone to come in here and just start pressing buttons and then start feeding thoughts into the Russell brain to make him think, oh yeah, I guess it probably was Russell. It probably was Russell. Anyway, Russell has to shit right now. Oh my fucking god. Russell has to shit. I'm gonna bring this thing into the fucking bathroom. Russell has to fucking shit. This always happens when fucking dealing with stuff like this. The body just has to fucking shit. This happens all the fucking time. Getting into stuff that's very fucking, detailed and retailed and fucking accurate, and recording videos on it and all that shit. Always. It always happens. So anyway, now keep in mind that Jose Carlos from the Oanda Entity Company, which is a fiction, which is just a made-up story. Someone made up a story, wrote it down. And Russell's not saying that stories are bad or made-up stories are bad. Russell's not saying it's bad. But when it's used to get stuck in the mud with abusively and looking to keep it that way forever and just totally treats other living organisms, looking to trick them, take advantage of them, keep them in a lower position, keep them in dependency, always looking to be rescued and saved and have heroes and all that, which is just unconsciousness. So even that's not a bad thing. But Russell's just putting all the evidence out there. It can be looked upon, as a terrible thing to have to be a fucking slave and, reincarnation and all that stuff, karma and all that other stuff, and things that happen. But brother's just putting all the evidence on there. Then the self always has the choice to conclude anything or to remain open or say it could be this, and still looking at more evidence and having more experience and knowing more and all that. So now that that's all said, now the brother's thinking to the self. Because Jose Carlos says in the email, and I'm going to go back to the email. Sent? No. And it's probably in this one. Nope, that's the no, go to the primary, open to the primary. Here. Carlos says in the email, right down here, he says, so when you submitted the new market order to go short, it closed the open position. And I'm going to interpret this account not eligible for hedging. I'm going to put this in much more palatable, comprehensive words. So when you submitted the new market order to go short, it closed the open position because people in America or the United States are not allowed to hedge. It's against the bankers' rules. Although they used to be able to hedge back in 2008 and all the prior years before that, but because we decided, which was probably because many Americans or United States citizens were losing all kinds of money because they didn't really know how to trade properly, we decided to be a nanny and a mama, a legal or legalism mommy and daddy, and decide that everybody in the United States or America cannot hedge trades anymore, or it was because they just wanted to control people in America and want to turn them into a third world nation and all that. It could be all kinds of different reasons. But that's basically the interpretation here for account not eligible for hedging. And the word not eligible means someone at the top, usually the gang leader, the pimp, with his hoes, with his prostitutes. It can be looked at that way because everything's buying and selling in the whole societal system. The top dog has decided, with his rule book that he wrote, that he doesn't want to allow certain people or anyone living in the United States or America to hedge. That's basically all it comes down to. And then the rest of the sentence. So let's start from the beginning. So when you submitted the new market order to go short, it closed the open position because hedging is not allowed. And the new position for 925 units was created, which was the order you closed that morning. And the reason he says, and the new position for minus 925 or going short or selling 925 units, which is 1,000 unit trade minus 75 units right here, which were buy. They were going buy. It was in a buy and they were in profit. Probably around 25 cents at now, about 25 pips. Pretty close to there because it's close to 100 units. And 100 units, it would be 0.1 cent per tick or 1 cent per pip, which is pretty much 1 cent every 100 units. So just keeping that in mind. So, and a new position. So now check this out. Although hedging is not eligible, the system or the bully that's running the system, or it might not be a bully, they might be a balanced individual. Balance is still bully because it means that balance. The word balance means debtor in the legal system. It doesn't mean what people think it is. More equilibrium would be the more proper word. There could be an equilibrium, a human being or entity or an animal or a alien or extraterrestrial, Vatican, military, trading, and all that stuff. Anyway, so that brother lost the train of thought. You got to wait for the train of thought to come. Anyway, the big guy decided. This is the way he's running the system. Okay, here it goes. The big guy decided, and then he relayed it to all staff below. The big guy decided that if they put in a hedge or a trade in the opposite direction, then automatically the first trade going the opposite direction is going to be closed, either for a loss or a profit, according to where it's at. It's going to be immediately closed. And Russell just learned this the hard way, and luckily it was only with playing around with $4.20, which is code for cannabis. Which in a couple previous videos when Russell was refurbishing the brakes on the Subaru, someone in the Oanda account banking system was playing around with the numbers 420. They deducted 420 from the account and then they put 420 back into the account. And it was kind of like a secret message to Russell telling Russell that you need to go get some cannabis and smoke some cannabis and get high and relax. And Russell saw what was going on. He caught onto it with discernment, with ESP and all that. And Russell said, no, he ain't falling for that hypnotic suggestion. Although it might have been a wonderful thing. It might be the good guys. It might have been the good guys who's able to read the body and see that it needs a little cannabis and whatnot. And it's good because there's revelations and new information to learn from smoking hallucinogenics, cannabis, and stuff like that. But anyway, so we recommend that you check your activity tab when placing new orders to check how many units you have open. Well, okay. That's wonderful. From now on, yeah, that's very obvious to Russell now. But but for Jose to give that reminder in a sentence here or a statement, that's wonderful. It's wonderful. Now it could be interpreted when someone's reading this that they could think, oh, he's being a smart ass. Well, yeah, it kind of sounds like that, but each to the self, and this is where the universal energies, self-sabotage, self-destruction, all of that come into play. And it could be cause people either to live in a blessing, or cause people to live in suffering, or cause people to bounce back and forth until they're learning more and more and more as they're transitioning from suffering to blessings, or from blessings to suffering, depending on where each one wants to choose to go, the self-choice. So anyway, knowing that, if that has happened, he's saying that the OAND accounts are set up in such a way that, discard this one. The OAND accounts, let's see, it came back down a couple more pips. The OAND accounts are set up, or this platform, this application or charting trade platform, the bully, the guy in charge, whether they're bully or a blessing guy or a middle guy or whatever, and he runs all the staff and all the slaves underneath him, according to the system, and they might all be looking to transition now because Russell is giving them all information with the mother and the father energy and the child energy. So anyway, it could be, according to everything that Jose is saying here, as the client experience team member, sharing information with Russell, it could be that when there's a trade on like this, whether it's in profit or in a loss, anytime another trade is placed in the opposite direction, it'll automatically close the first trade out, which is the trade on the screen here, and it will replace it with the new trade. And so that probably could have happened because looking at the activity, looking at ticket 11555, which is that ticket that placed the 1,000 unit sell order and stopped and closed the buy order here. 555. Here it is. When this closed out, see if there's any other information here. No. It's just pretty much 000 and the 383 loss, and then the balance. That should be, instead of balance, that should say equilibrium. The equilibrium, that shouldn't be the word balance. The word balance in the maritime system on the public side, especially on the legalism public side, which legalism is mud stuck, abusive, looking to keep it that way forever, slave system, you just do what you're fucking told, we're gonna fucking manage all the accounts, and there's a bad side to it. That word balance means debt. So when they're all saying that all the companies, when they add up all their books at the end of the night, and if they see that there's a balance, which means that there's money missing, when that word balance, they say, the books aren't balancing. Now that word balance means there's money missing, or there's a debt, or someone hasn't paid up. And so they're referred to as the debtor. And so the word balance actually means debt. There's a debt that someone needs to pay here. So most people don't know this stuff. They think the word balance is to get on a balancing beam and to have great balance. It can be looked at that way, but for the most part, it's the banking system that even runs the Olympics, where the balancing beam artist gets paid with gold medals. That's monetary value, or silver medals or bronze medals. They pay them. That's being paid. And those that don't get any positions, well, they just get a little 2-cent blue ribbon. It might be $5 worth of blue ribbon material, the best blue ribbon. They paid the best company. It might be a $10 blue ribbon, red blue ribbon, yellow ribbon, red ribbon, whatever the fuck the levels are. So now Russell has said all that. So before Russell, because Russell's going to experiment here. he's going to put in a sell trade, and Russell's going to see. It's going to be all on camera here. We're going to see if this trade closes and is replaced with a sell, and then Russell's going to immediately close that sell order out, unless it wants to keep coming down and be in profit. Because look at it. See what it looks like on the chart. See, look at that. It's coming down now. See, it came and broke the high. Okay, that could be considered a stop hunt. Whoop. Or else they're coming down for a trap. This is also known as a trap, especially on the daily time frame, hourly time frame. These are all the same repeating patterns. They break the box here, or a flag, the triangle flag. They break it, and they immediately come back down strong. And it's usually at the numbers. So look at the numbers here. This one's at zeros. So it's coming down to zeros. But it only went up to, this one says 14.14. Usually goes to 25. So this could just be a pullback or a stop hunt. Stop these guys out that went break even when it broke here. Scared people, they put in their trades and they immediately go break even, and then the algorithm, this program, turn around and come right the fuck back, stop them out, and then continue. So anyway, it's coming down, so who knows? But, so that's that. So anyway, going back to the trade, to the app. Now, I'm going to go look at that last ticket. The last ticket, which is the one that 1155, the one that closed the deal. 115.55. It's the one that closed the 42-cent profit buy at 75 units. So 58.85, this is in the 80s. 58.55 should be here. 55, 2, 3, 4, 55. Okay, this one. Now, look, it says 28 cents profit. The brother is guessing that it went around 25 pips. Because it was at 56.2 pips. And go look at the email again as a reminder. Okay, go to the email and then look at the email that was sent. Sent. This is the first one. And this is the one that Russell sent all the pictures. Go to the bottom, because that's where the picture for the 42 cents at. See? 42 cents, 56 pips in profit at certain such and such time. Up at the top up here, see that? 10:23 p.m. at 14,233 pips, or price $1.14,233. And then there's another picture here. Okay, this is this brother's wondering this picture. But anyway, it's showing 42 pips, 56 at 10:26. Instead of 10:23, it's 10:26. That one's not fully explainable yet. And then there's this one. Here's 10:26 also. Well, that's the same one. That's the same one. So those two pictures are, oh fuck, come on, you fucker. It fucking spread out too much. So that one and that one is pretty much the same picture. Look at that. 195, 1325, 1375. There's at 1375, 4.3. See, the brothers matching the numbers up here. See this? 4.37. 4.37 right there, US. All the numbers are matching up. Oh, that's right. So one's being posted. This is the same picture. It's just posted on Telegram. See the background? This is all Telegram stuff. There's Russell up there in the top. And then this is this is the, no, this is Telegram too, because it's got Russell Eskew down here. That's the Telegram platform. So all this, the trash, da da da. So, anyway, so the point is to see this. It's at 42 cents. That's the reason for going back to it. Now, go back to that other ticket, the 115.55 in the activity tab. Right here, it says it got closed out. So there was a trade put on. Not saying Russell did it, but it could have been. Russell seems to think that, remember, he's being jogged now because that was the first time he's using this buy sell, a trade entry. Russell don't like the word buy because buy is for gay. To be bi is to be homosexual. Buy go both ways. So, and buy, everything's supposed to be treasury prepaid. So buy is actually dishonoring the bankruptcy. So it's a disrespect to the creditors. The people, or the Americans, are the creditors. All people, because the United States bankruptcy bankrupted every fucking nation, the whole fucking system, because everybody was trading the dollar. The International Exchange Unit, everybody has to exchange all their money for dollars in order to get trade going on between all nations. So when the United States went bankrupt in 1929, which the fake media told everyone it was the stock market crash, that was a front story to cover the bankruptcy. They went to bankruptcy number 3 because they failed to pay. They ran out of gold to pay the English bank for the Revolutionary War debt when the Founding Fathers broke away from England. But they don't teach this stuff to the children. But this is all learned at the YouTube channel Winston Shrout, learning the maritime system, especially private maritime law. So, brothers thinking, so press on it. It's probably going to be like 25 pips profit. Okay, so there's 20 C's. So, you see here. Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't say pips in here, but it does say 28 cents, which is the same thing as this right here. The only way to figure the profits or the pip numbers is to look at when it was sold. So it was sold at $1.14043. So brother's gonna get a pen here. He's gonna write this. Brother's sitting on the toilet anyway. So see, brother's shitting. Oh, fucking didn't have this fucker plugged in either. Fucking battery went down to fucking 72%. There you go. The lightning and the green charge just went on. So it's this one here. So, brother's on the fucking pot shitting. See that? Toilet. There's a little bit of weenie. Didn't really see much. There's Russell over there. See? Russell's got a light over here too. Russell's shitting on the pot. There's the legs and all that. And here's the fucking numbers. So, okay, all right. So the sell unit now. The brother's going to write the numbers under here for the sell unit. So go back to that ticket, Oanda. All right. So here it is. It was closed, or as soon as the sell unit went in, it closed the 75 international units for 28 cents in profit, and the new entry went in at 1.14043. So brother's gonna write that right down here. So see, go to the fucking camera. Brother's gonna write it down right here. Yeah. One. Gotta get a fucking pen that fucking functions. Alright, so this one's black. 1.14. 1.14. So you go back and read it again. 1.14043. Okay, go back to the home screen and hit the camera. 043. Fucking ink's going out. pretty. And remember, the original ticket started off right here at 1 point. Fuck is that? That's ticket 14. Hold on, go back. Go back to the fucking Oanda account and look up ticket 114.63. All right, so here it is. 113.673. The fuck is this? $13,673. The fuck? Hold on a second here. June 3rd, 23:15, 10 seconds. 13,673. Brother wrote the wrong fucking number in there. Huh. Wow. He sure was fucking seeing something else. 13,673. So you're gonna have to write. I need to get a fucking pen that fucking functions. Fuck this. I need to fuck ass, get your ass back in the fucking thing. Shit. Brother used to ride all the time on the toilet. He'd fucking just fucking read books, be on the fucking toilet for like fucking 2 and 3 hours at a time, reading fucking books and just writing in the books, writing shit down and all that stuff. All these fucking pens are all fucking dried out because they've been sitting here for the past 10 fucking years. Might be longer than that. Okay, so this is supposed to be, brother's just gonna write it up here. 1.3673. All right. So now go back to the fucking camera. Turn it around the other way. Get the fuck out of the way, bastard. Come on, the other way, dick fuck. Alright. This fucking desk over here so the brother can fucking read this shit. Alright, so from 14,043 right here minus this one when the whole fucking trade was opened right here. 1.3673. So 1.3673. No, that's supposed to be, hold on. 1.3673. Now go back and double check or double inspect. See where the fuck this thing. 1.3673. Yeah. Now, come on, you fuck ass. Look how fuck this shit is tedious as fuck. Cause moving from screen to screen, it's very difficult, very fucking hard to remember exactly all the fucking numbers. So and then remember keep a thought train set of, replace of with fucking love, eliminate that fucking word of. But getting all the fucking anxious and in a hurry and fucking fed up and all that shit, it all plays into it because of all this fucking dealing with this whole fucking system that's all based on, you know, you gotta present the exact correct fucking evidence on every goddamn thing that's going on because we need to get to the bottom of every fucking thing so we can find you fucking guilty and keep you as a goddamn slave. You got that, you little shit? And if you think you're one, we're going to change the rules on you and not explain it to you either. We're just going to say we're right. We're just going to tell you any answer and just leave it at that. That's exactly what the fuck goes on. So this is 1.3. So there it is. 1.3673. Now go back to the fucking camera. So turn the fucking... So get this fucking camera here, right here. 13. All right, now go down, subtract that from, this is when that 1,000 unit sell went in, and it cashed out the 75 unit long that was in profit 42 cents and 56.2 pips. Now it's come down over the night because the brother put this trade on because he was more than likely experimenting with the buy sell button for the first fucking time. This trade went on at 05:34:17 in the morning, right at non-farm payroll. This was all fucking happening. And brother was surprised because the news just fucking came out, and he missed it because he was all fucking, something wasn't going, the brother was pressing buttons, which seemed very simple, and one thing led to another, and it didn't turn out to be very simple. Everything was complicated. Because, once again, the main reason it was going to Oanda for the trade platform. Come on, you lagging fuck. See, this always happens too. It always wants to fucking, whenever to get to a point quickly, it knows just when to fucking start fucking lagging and fucking drag shit out. Because remember, it could be all universal fucking test too. A universal fucking test to see who's going to throw a fucking fit. Just break shit and all that other stuff. So, hold on. And then brother's dealing with this remote control fucking thing. He just got this just recently. He's learned how to use it and all that shit. So anyway, to put a trade on, a new trade down here. See where it says new trade? Press on that, like the brother was saying. You got to press the buy or the sell. Got to be sure the buy, the press, the buy. Because if it's lit, it looks like it's in the sell position. See if it's lit, and it will go over and it will light the other fucking side up. But there's a small little fucking circle there. See, this circle isn't filled. This circle is filled. So these are small details, retails that are learned. So as price moves up and down, this fucking color will change over to there. It will fucking go red and blue and fucking start changing around and all that fucking shit. See that? Green. And then, so all that fucking shit. So getting used to that. That was all fucking new. Now, getting back to the fucking camera and figuring out how many pips. This should be around 25 fucking pips is where the brother's figuring. So, get the fucking camera on. Alright, so 13, 6, 7, 3. Brother's going to subtract that. He's going to draw a line. I'll put it right here. He's going to draw a line up to here, up to there. Put some little arrows there. Now, 3 minus, I'm getting this fucking camera just right. 3 minus 3 is 0. 9, carry the 1. 14, 7 is 7. So cross that out, that's a 3. And then 9. No, don't cross it out. This is a 9. Oh, no, yeah, had to cross that out to get it to 9. So a 3 goes up here. And then 9 minus 6 is 3. And then 3 minus 3 is 0. So it's 37. It was 37 pips in profit. That must be it. No, something seems fucked up here. Something's not jiving. It should be 14.04. Yeah, 37 pips. There it is. Yeah. So 0 and 37. So that's 37 pips instead of 56. Instead of 56 pips at 42 cents, which is this one here, 42 cents, 56 pips, it now dropped down to 37 pips and 0.28 cents profit pip. So that's probably it. So that seems sensible. Instead of 56 at 42, it's 37 at 28. And then the brother has capacity to figure out the calculations to get it down to the 10th cent, how many 10th cents and all that shit. Because the brother was into buying and selling houses, so he's able to calculate all that shit. So, and the brother had a plan to get into some real estate business at one time, but it never happened. So exactly, all the astrology. Then there's always this could be a mere flash going on side of Russell. So look at this. It doesn't want to go to the fucking trade. So look at this. It's just fucking stopping it. It's not, and this is all fucking being caught on fucking video too. So that's kind of cool too. And there could be someone at the top that wants it caught on video. So look at this thing's fucking dragging. Look at that. So someone's fucking around with the fucking internet. And I this happens all the fucking time with Russell. All the fucking time. So brother just goes to the settings and turns on and off airplane. Turn on and off the airplane. And then go to the Wi-Fi connection. Turn that fucker on and off. That seems to help sometimes. There's the neighbor Vahana. So now go back to the fucking home screen. Go to Oanda platform. See what happens now. Signing in. Yeah. So this could be someone doesn't want the complete evidence that Russell figured this out, instead of just listening to, because most people, if someone from the desk team tells them anything in an email, they just automatically just go with it. And then Russell, he always goes in and he looks at every last fucking thing. And so someone doesn't want this getting on the video, on this video, although it's going to go on another video. You sure as shit as that, Russell's going to fucking get a part fucking too. So it's going to get on in there, but someone doesn't want it on this video. See that? It's not allowed being signed in. Look at that. Now, another thing that the brother wants to share is that this is the MT4 platform. All right, if the brother was to place a trade, the minimum trade on these MT4 platforms is 0.01 microlot, which is 1,000 international units. All right. Now this is the Aussie dollar. So he says Aussie dollar. So you got to fucking, in order to get this one, you got to be sure to get the US dollar. Now, if brother places a trade on this one, he's wondering if this one is going to close out the one that's on Oanda. Because as far as the brother knows, on the MT4 platform, they don't allow any fucking hedge what the fuck soever, even if there's a fucking buy. And then, of course, the buy would be right in here in this window. And then, of course, up here at the top, hit the plus sign. And the brother knows this for fucking sure. It won't allow no trades to go through on the MT4 platform. Nothing. Nada. But you know, he's not saying that that's a bad or a good thing. You know, whether it does or it does, you know, it can be a good thing too. Some people just, when they figure out that it works that way, then they can go to the Oanda one and know that they can immediately cancel out the other trade just like that. Boom. They ain't got to put two trades in. On the MT4 platform, you got to fucking close the other one out, then press a fucking buy. But the brother's just kind of curious right now. He's kind of curious. He's thinking, should he risk 20 cents? Should the brother risk 20 cents just to go ahead and hit a sell market, just to be sure? Well, just to see if it's going to close out the Oanda trade. Brother's wondering. That might be it. So having So having the OANDA platform not open up all of a sudden, see, it wasn't all a bad thing because it caused Russell to go to to get some other information. So, but, the old societal habit is to be impatient, which is a fucking hospital fucking under doctor's orders fucking jurisdiction. Impatient? Because only doctors deal with patients. Patience means nostalgia. And that's a wartime doctor situation. Go study the word nostalgia on the Google search, and it's connected to fucking wartime doctors. Doctors during times of war came up with that word, nostalgia. Although out in the public, most people think it's a great word to use. They think, oh, the word nostalgia means something great and it's to celebrate something. And Russell's here to say, bullshit. That's a fucking war doctor fucking playing war games, sending soldiers to the front line for experimenting, collecting insurance money, seeing how many they can fucking tear their arms off, bring home, experiment, and put fucking robot parts on them. Plastic robot parts. So, it could be. Not saying that it is. Just evidence to consider until more and more is known. So, anyway. So, here's that one. So, seeing how it's not wanting to go through, the brother's just going to go ahead and go to the fucking MT4 and place the minimum 1,000 units. Just put a fucking stop loss on it. Let's see, put it for like 5 pips. And then fucking profit. Oh, it's going to be a sell. It's going to be a sell. So then a profit. Go 13.98. And see if this goes in. And then of course, won't be able to tell though. Won't be able to tell because can't access the OANDA account. So that was a wonderful thing. To not be in such a hurry just to go ahead and throw it on there. If the OANDA account isn't going through, there's no way to go back to the OANDA account to see if that other trade's going to be fucking closed. See that? Look at that. So the brother's going to have to end the fucking video. And that's going to have to be for another video. So just play around with the other stuff. I wonder if there's something going on with the internet. So you put this on the 1 minute chart, see this thing's fucking price is going up. Yep, price is going up and down. See that? So that's good. Now put it back to the fucking. Now go to and this is the MT5 platform. So the MT5 platform, it has a trade on, and it's at 28 cents. So brother's wondering, should he just wait? Should he just wait till it possibly comes down? Possibly comes down all the way to the bottom and bottoms out, because usually it does that. So you get an arrow here. So the brother draws. Usually, a lot of times in situations like this, it comes up, breaks the low, and immediately comes all the way down and touches the low, and then it starts moseying its way back up, or it just sits down there and coils and breaks just a little bit, fakes traders out that's going to be going down, and then turns and fucking engulfs. Pin hammer, and then off to the races back up this way. And seeing how on the higher time frames, that's the direction. So you go to higher time frames, could have a Elliott wave here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be looked at that way. Or go to different time frames. Get this fucking arrow fuck off here, because whenever we go to a different time frame, these fucking arrows start to fucking engorge or fucking get tiny as fuck. So go to the hour. Here's an hour chart. There's the trend line there. So even at a trend line, the same thing fucking happens. They'll break the trend line and immediately fucking haul ass back up. Now this right here on a time frame here, this could be considered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elliott wave. Boom. So that's the wonderful thing with combining Scott Schubert's method, the Schubert method, Elliott wave method, the Schubert method with the Stacy Burke method. Schubert method would be long-term trading, and Stacy Burke method is short-term trading. Although classical charting principles that Stacy Burke uses, they go for higher time frames too. Keep that in mind. But for the most part, Stacy Burke trades short term. He just trades for the day and then gets out. He doesn't keep anything fucking running. Although sometimes he does. Sometimes he does, because he does know other information with long-term trading. So anyway, so that's that. So fucking put this thing back on 15-minute, look at it. So, just put it like that, and then go back to the O and of platform and see if it'll go through. So now intuition is telling Russell the reason why this is not signing back in is because someone's either irritated that Russell was able to figure this shit out, and they don't want Russell to be able to finish it out on this video here, and hope that Russell will either fucking end up losing his hand or something and all that shit, so he can't make another video. Because that's the one thing that the bully does not, unconsciousness does not like. It does not like being fucking corrected at all. Or audited. It doesn't like being audited. Unless, of course, it's learning more and more to look at the self more and more, because an audit is just your self-reflection. That's all it is. As it could be. But anyway, so go back to the camera. And here's Russell on the shit. Fucking things. Here's Russell on the shitty pot. It's time to fucking end the video. And it's going to have to go to the blue box. Hopefully the sound will be on this one. The last video, the sound got fucking hacked. Or else Russell was robot controlled to not be sure that the sound was on. But when he clicked it, the little red button comes on. So, you know, that's the way it is. Let's see here. Let's go to the fucking home screen. Yeah, see, bring up bring up the screen like this, and then the bottom, just go on any fucking video. The bottom should come up. See that? The red dot right there? So brother needs to periodically, during the fucking, in all videos, needs to periodically double check. As long as that bullseye is still red, that's the sound. No, that's not the sound. That's just its recording. There's no way to tell if the sound's still on. And there'll have to be a separate video to show how to turn the sound on and off. The speaker, the microphone on and off, so it gets sound. Anyway, brother's gonna stop this fucker right here until the next fucking video. Fuck the Nara! Just let the child out and express it.